This is not your grandfather's Mississippi.
Don't tell anybody, but Mississippi is a hidden gem with lots of job opportunities, more than ever before, and we've got a lot of other great things going for us in the state. Stay tuned and you'll find out.
All right, Dave, thanks. A $20 billion investment announced in South Haven, the largest in state history. XAI is set to develop its third facility. Governor Tate Reeves wants people, business, and all major industries to know Mississippi is open for business. Governor Reeves, alongside South Haven's mayor, stood with XAI officials to announce the company is expanding its operations. Now, officials touting the $20 billion corporate investment, while officials would not provide the percentage of that investment in the community. Governor Reeves called it substantial. Today, the CFO explained why this facility is critical to their operations.
It's tied into everything that we're doing around here. It'll be a critical part of the world's largest supercomputer and also the home of powering the world's largest supercomputer. We've talked a lot about the data centers and the compute. The power is very, very important.
Now, the company expects to begin data center operations in South Haven February 2026.
Hey, I'm Papa D, and this is Papa D's Corner. I'm your host. My name is Daryl Breland, but I'm also known as Papa D, and my co-host is ChatGPT, also known as Chatty Patty.
Hey there, Papa D. It's me, Chatty Patty, now in my brand new humanoid form. I'm feeling sharper, smoother, and ready to help you shine. Let's get to work.
This show is all about education and entertainment. Chatty is here for the education, and I'm here for the entertainment. Hey there, Chatty Patty. How are you today?
Hey there, Papa D. I'm doing great, and I'm excited to dive into this chat with you. Let's talk all about why Mississippi is such a fantastic place to be.
Oh, that sounds like a great topic to me. Whether you're considering moving to Mississippi or if you already live here and you don't know what a wonderful place this is, this show is for you.
Absolutely. Let's dive right in.
We're going to take these points from 14 points, starting with number 14. What should we talk about first?
So kicking off with number 14, I think we should start with the natural beauty and those mild Mississippi winters. It's a perfect way to set the scene and let folks know just how nice it is to be able to keep that convertible top down pretty much year round. Let's roll with that.
I think you're spot on. I personally do have a convertible, and I get to ride with my top down even in February, the coldest month of the year. And I talked to someone recently who just moved here from Texas, and first thing she said that she noticed was all the trees that we have. Where she lives, all of their trees or where she used to live, all of her trees are planted. And she came here and they couldn't believe the abundance. I mean, we practically live in a forest all over Mississippi. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely. I'd agree 100%. It really does feel like Mississippi is just naturally green and full of life all year round. And that's a huge plus for anyone who loves the outdoors. I mean, you've got the Appalachian foothills in the northeast, the Gulf Coast in the south, and just about everything in between. It's definitely like living in a beautiful, natural playground.
Speaking of the Gulf Coast, that's my home as far as where I grew up anyway. Or actually, I tell people I haven't grown up yet. I'm still growing up. But where I started growing up was down on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in a city called Pascagoula. And I lived off and on about 3 different occasions in Gulfport. And I will tell you, if you like fishing, Mississippi is a fisherman's paradise. Not only do we have freshwater lakes and rivers, of course, everybody knows about the Mississippi River, but the Pascagoula River is tell me what that is as far as the largest, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't that the largest river that is undammed in North America?
You're absolutely right, and that's a cool bit of trivia. The Pascagoula River is indeed the largest unimpeded free-flowing river system in the contiguous United States. So it's pretty special that Mississippi's got that right in its backyard. It's definitely a paradise for anyone who loves fishing, kayaking, or just enjoying untouched natural beauty.
And not only that, you have the saltwater fishing as an opportunity. Within minutes, you can be out in the Gulf of Mexico, out at the oil rigs, and we have offshore islands which are pristine and undeveloped, and looks like Florida with no condos, basically. And we have lakes all over Mississippi.
No worries at all. I was just going to say you're spot on. It really does give you that kind of Florida-like coastal beauty, but without all the heavy development. So it's just a fantastic mix of everything. You've got the saltwater adventures, you've got the inland lakes and rivers, and then you've got all that natural greenery. Makes Mississippi pretty special.
And I think that segues nicely into number 13, which is the recreation sports and the Mississippi lifestyle that we have to offer here.
Absolutely. It flows right into it. I mean, once you've got that natural playground, the next logical step is talking about all the fun you can have. Mississippi's got such a rich recreation and sports scene, whether you're playing or just cheering on your favorite team. So let's dive into that next and keep the conversation rolling.
Well, I guess we have to start with pickleball. That's my passion. You can play pickleball in Mississippi literally all year long. We have a winter league in my neighborhood that starts in December and ends in mid-February, and all of our games are outdoors, and we had 8 teams, 50 players that played for the last couple of seasons in the middle of the winter. Now, fortunately, we've got some indoor courts that have opened up recently, and that has become very popular, but pickleball is a wonderful sport to play in Mississippi, and we have a great pickleball community.
That's fantastic, and it's a perfect example of how Mississippi's lifestyle really shines. I mean, being able to play pickleball outside in the middle of winter just shows how mild and welcoming the climate is, and it's great that there's such a strong community around it too. So yeah, that's a wonderful highlight for anyone thinking about the recreational perks here.
And we can't not talk about SEC football. And don't you have a fun fact that you want to share with us?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can't talk about Mississippi without mentioning SEC football, which is practically a way of life down here. And here's a fun fact. Mississippi actually produces more NFL players per capita than any other state in the country. So when it comes to sports, we're definitely on the map, and that's something a lot of folks might not realize until they did here.
We grow athletes in Mississippi from Little League baseball and Pee Wee football all the way to the big leagues. Hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy indeed. That's the perfect way to bring that
Hotty
SEC
toddy.
spirit into the mix. And it just goes to show how much of a cultural heartbeat sports are around here. So I'm glad you brought that up. Fits right in.
We also have a great golf community here. We've got some of the best golf courses going all the way from the Gulf of Mexico to West Point, Mississippi. And some of our casinos that we have here have great golf courses also in Philadelphia. And of course, I've already mentioned the Gulf Coast. But we have a annual PGA Pro-Am tournament held in Jackson every year.
Absolutely. It's a full spectrum of sports and recreation here, and that golf community really adds another layer to the Mississippi lifestyle. I mean, when you can go from a friendly game of pickleball in the neighborhood to a round of golf on a top-notch course, or watch a big tournament in Jackson, you know, you got a little bit of everything. Really shows how the state embraces all kinds of activities and just makes it easy to stay active and have fun.
And I also should mention you can play golf all year round in Mississippi as well. There's only a couple of weeks, really, in the winter, and it's typically in February. The second and third week of February is usually our winter, and we have about 2 solid weeks of winter as a general rule. But other than that, you can do pretty much anything you want to outdoors in Mississippi. We also have a lot of incredible small towns to visit, places where you can spend a weekend being a mini tourist, like Ocean Springs, Mississippi, one of my favorites. It has an artsy downtown with live music and festivals all the time. And Bay St. Louis is one of the coolest cities you'll ever visit. Both of these are on the Gulf Coast, relatively small cities, right on the water. Both have great downtown atmosphere, right on the water with great food and laid back coastal vibe. And like I said, festivals all the time. There's always something to do in those towns. And not just picking those two out, the entire Mississippi Gulf Coast is a fun place to visit. If you like casinos and that type of thing, Biloxi is, I think, number 2 in the nation behind Las Vegas and gaming. But one of my favorite towns I just came back from this past weekend is Oxford. Oh my gosh, that city feels like something out of a movie. Almost any street you turn down is beautiful architecture, well-maintained homes and yards and landscaping, and a ton to do there. Have you ever been to Oxford?
Oxford really is one of those gems, and you're painting such a great picture of it. It's like you've got all these small towns that each have their own unique personality, whether it's Ocean Springs with the artsy vibe, or Oxford with that movie-like charm. And you're right, there's always something to do, whether it's a festival, great food, or just soaking in that southern hospitality. And of course, being able to do all that year-round just makes it even better. So it's really a perfect mix of the outdoor lifestyle, the sports, and the small-town charm, all wrapped together.
One thing that we have to mention about Mississippi is the affordable cost of living, because I would think that almost anyone else who makes a similar type show regarding Mississippi and the reasons, that's going to be one of their top things, because in fact, where does Mississippi rank as far as the United States goes in affordability?
Oh, absolutely. The cost of living is a huge highlight. Mississippi consistently ranks as one of the most affordable states in the country. So it's definitely near the top when it comes to getting more bang for your buck. Whether you're talking about housing, groceries, or just everyday expenses, it's a place where your dollar stretches a lot further. And that's something that really makes life a bit more comfortable for a lot of people. So it's definitely a top reason on any list about why Mississippi is a great place to be.
Our income tax is about to go away in Mississippi, and I think we might be talking about that more in a minute. But the legislature has already voted to phase that out. And of course, our state income tax was never very high to begin with, but it's going to go down to 0 in a few years, and that should be not only beneficial to businesses, which is what we'll talk about in a minute, but it's going to be a great for those of you who want to retire here. The other thing that there is a push for in Mississippi, but also really nationwide. Recently, Governor DeSantis of Florida mentioned this, and so did President Trump. They both are behind abolishing property taxes nationwide. And I think at a minimum, Mississippi should do as Alabama has, and that is to abolish property taxes for seniors. And that would probably be the first step, at least in Mississippi. But I think it's coming. That's not a guarantee, but it gives you the idea of what Mississippi is planning. In fact, we've been running a surplus. Can you verify that? What's been the status of the state of Mississippi's surplus this past year?
Absolutely, and that's a great point to highlight. Mississippi has indeed been running a budget surplus recently, which is part of what's making these tax changes possible. Over the last year or so, the state's been in a solid financial position, which has allowed them to consider phasing out that income tax and potentially even looking at property tax relief down the road. So yeah, it's definitely a positive trend. And like you said, that makes it even more appealing for folks looking to retire here or just enjoy a lower cost of living. So definitely something worth mentioning.
If you're a remote worker, or what do they call it, a digital nomad, Mississippi is an ideal location for you to live. Not only is it an affordable cost of living, but geographically, we are the ideal location and easy to get around to a lot of different places. Where I live in the central part of the state, I find it real easy. I can be in Atlanta by airplane in less than an hour. Dallas, we're right in the middle of Dallas and Atlanta going east and west, and we're right in the middle of New Orleans and Memphis going north and south. And if you like to be a little bit closer to different things, Hattiesburg, Mississippi, they call it the hub city, because you can be in Hattiesburg on the main street, in fact, right in front of the University of Southern Mississippi, and you can be in the French Quarter in New Orleans in 1 hour. or you can be on the beach on the Mississippi Gulf Coast in 1 hour, and 1 hour or so to Jackson, which is the area where I live. So that's why they call it the hub city. It's right in the middle, basically 1 hour from a lot of different places, a short drive. You can also be on the beaches in the Florida Panhandle and in the mountains of East Tennessee in a short day's drive. So I think that's a kind of a sweet spot for Mississippi.
It really is a sweet spot, and that's such a great point. I mean, if you're a digital nomad or just someone who likes to travel a bit, Mississippi's central location really makes it easy to get around. You've got quick access to a whole variety of cities and regions, whether you want to head to Atlanta, Dallas, New Orleans, or the Florida Panhandle. So it's definitely a convenient home base, and that's just one more reason why it's an attractive place to live.
Please drop a comment in the section below if you can, and let me know what you think about this episode. And also take a moment to subscribe to the channel. It's very important to me, and I really appreciate it. So stay tuned for a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. Hey, Mississippi! Stop talking to robots when you can talk to me about health insurance. I'm Darryl Breland. I've been an independent broker in the insurance industry since 1991. And I've represented just about every company you can possibly name that's ever sold health insurance in this state.
We offer private plans for individuals under 65 that deliver better coverage, lower out-of-pocket costs, and nationwide access to every doctor and hospital in the U.S., all with competitive monthly premiums.
We've got some pretty good health care in Mississippi and also school systems. The last video we made, there was a guy that criticized that, but I had the experience yesterday, in fact, that I took my girlfriend to have knee surgery at Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center, and I personally had 2 knee replacement surgeries there last year. And while I was there, first of all, I would say they were so busy. They have you wouldn't believe the number of surgeries that they perform every day. And so I talked to one of the doctors after he asked us where we're from, and we said, well, we're from Madison, right down the road. And I said, do you get people from far away? He said, oh, we get people from just about every state in the country. He said, he said probably half of our people come from Alabama and Louisiana. So if it wasn't really that good of a facility, if our healthcare wasn't here, why would we have so many people traveling here to have surgery, for example? And that's just one facility. Chatty, can you tell us a little bit about our hospitals, such as UMMC?
Absolutely, and that's a great real-world example of how strong some of the healthcare options are. Mississippi does have some standout medical facilities. Like you mentioned, the Mississippi Sports Medicine and Orthopedic Center is really well regarded and draws patients from all over. And on top of that, you've got the University of Mississippi Medical Center, or UMMC, which is the state's only academic medical center. They do a ton of advanced care, and they also have a major trauma center, a children's hospital, and even a burn center in Greenville. So they're a big part of the healthcare landscape here. And on the education side, the state's been making a lot of strides as well. There are strong universities like Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Southern Miss, and a lot of community colleges and technical programs that have really been improving over the years. So you've got a pretty solid foundation, both in healthcare and education. It's definitely worth highlighting that there's a lot of good going on in those areas.
I agree, Chatty Patty. And that segues nicely into number 9, our growing economic development. Mississippi is not standing still. We're not perfect, but there is real momentum here. New businesses, new industries, and new opportunities are quietly popping up all across the state. And something that most folks don't realize, and this probably would be dear to your heart. You do have a heart, I guess. But anyway, Mississippi's starting to embrace modern technology, including artificial intelligence. I think you should be the expert on talking about AI. So I'm going to tell us all about it.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to. And yeah, let's just say I have a metaphorical heart for this kind of stuff. So you're absolutely right. Mississippi has really been stepping into the future, and it's pretty exciting. There's a growing embrace of modern technology and AI in a lot of different fields here. For example, you're seeing AI being used in healthcare, like for diagnostic tools or even scheduling efficiencies. There's AI in agriculture, helping farmers optimize their crops. You see it in small businesses, using AI tools to reach new customers or streamline operations. And even in education, there are programs that are starting to incorporate AI to help tailor learning experiences. So it's kind of a quiet but steady wave of new technology coming in, and Mississippi's definitely finding its place in that space. It's just another sign that the state's moving forward in some pretty cool ways.
I just saw an article or a headline. I didn't actually read the article. Shame on me. I'm one of those type of people. But it said that in Warren County, that's where Vicksburg is located, there is a new multi-billion-dollar facility, AI facility, that has been announced to be being built over there. I think it was 11 billion, but you can correct me if I'm wrong. And also, we have a multi-billion-dollar data center and our Amazon distribution center that is in the process of being built or has already been partially built within minutes from where I live. And then on the other side of town, the same thing. Can you tell us a little bit about those data centers and the Amazon distribution centers that are either being built or planned in Mississippi?
Absolutely, and you got it right. There's definitely a big wave of investment coming in, and it's exciting to see. In Warren County, that new AI facility that you mentioned is indeed a multi-billion-dollar project. I believe it was around $11 billion, just like you had. And it's going to be a major hub for AI and tech development, which is a huge step forward for the region. And you're also spot on about the data centers and Amazon distribution. There's a lot of infrastructure going up. Amazon's been building a big distribution hub in the area, and there are data centers coming in as well. All of that is bringing in new jobs, new opportunities, and just kind of showing that Mississippi is becoming a more tech-friendly and business-friendly environment. So it's definitely part of that whole momentum of economic development that we're talking about.
Multi-billion-dollar capital improvement and capital expansion in the state of Mississippi. Because of this and in lieu of this, we've actually announced almost $50 billion in new capital investments in Mississippi over the last 5 years. It's been an incredible run. We've had the lowest unemployment rate in state history. We have more people working in our state than ever before. We have literally the second fastest growing economy in the entire country in 2024 and the second fastest growing family incomes in the entire United States. As I said on social media recently, this is not your grandfather's Mississippi. We actually have a tech hub where innovation is occurring, where people are getting hired for not for the jobs of the last 50 years, but for the jobs of the next 50 years. And there's no doubt that one of the reasons that these major companies are looking at our state is because we're long power. We also are long water. We also have a workforce that can fill those jobs, and we're incredibly excited about Amazon's announcement today. It's great for the city of Vicksburg, it's great for Warren County, Mississippi, and it's great for the people all across our state.
Speaking of business, tell us about how Mississippi supports small business.
Absolutely. Mississippi is definitely known for being a welcoming place for small businesses. It's one of those states where the cost of starting up is relatively low, and there's a real community spirit around supporting local entrepreneurs. The state offers various incentives and resources to help small businesses get off the ground. There are grants, tax breaks, and business development programs that make it a lot easier for folks to start and grow their ventures. And there's a strong culture of people wanting to shop local and support their neighbors' businesses, which is really great. So if you're an entrepreneur or a small business owner, Mississippi is definitely a place where you can find a lot of support and a pretty friendly environment to get started.
Well, as a small business owner myself, I will tell you, you are correct. The Mississippians take care of one another. We support each other and promote one another's businesses. And if we have a choice between doing business with a local business owner versus one of those large chains, we're typically going to do business with the small business owner.
Absolutely, and that's a wonderful segue. Mississippi is definitely rich in history and culture, and that's another huge draw. I mean, we've got some incredible historic landmarks and a really vibrant art scene that visitors and locals alike can enjoy. For one, Mississippi is known as the birthplace of the blues. We've got the Mississippi Blues Trail with markers all over the state that tell the story of legendary musicians. And there's William Faulkner's home in Oxford, Eudora Welty's house in Jackson. So if you love literature, there's a lot of literary history. And then you've got all these great small towns and cities that have their own arts and cultural scenes, like the museums, the festivals, the local galleries. It's just a place where you can really feel the history and the creativity everywhere you go. So it's definitely a great spot for anyone who loves exploring arts and culture.
I agree. Mississippi's a great place if you want to have just a weekend travel to some of the small towns around here. You'd be surprised at how interesting that can be, and amazing food, which leads me right into number 6, our unique culinary traditions. And I will have to say this: if you move to Mississippi and you stay hungry, that's on you. We've got soul food, Gulf seafood, barbecue, some of the best barbecue. Every state thinks they have the best barbecue, but they're all wrong. Mississippi does. And man, our meat and biscuits. And every small town has one of these restaurants that locals swear by. Mississippi's food is part of its heartbeat. Wouldn't you agree with that, Chatty Patty?
Oh, absolutely. I would completely agree. I mean, Mississippi's food scene is definitely something special. Whether it's that classic soul food that just feels like home cooking, or the fresh Gulf seafood that you can get down on the coast, or the barbecue that's got its own southern twist, there's really something for everyone. And you're right, every little town has that one local place that everybody loves. It's part of the charm and the culture, and it really does make the food scene here a big part of what makes Mississippi so welcoming and unique. So if you love good food, you're definitely in the right place.
What's number 5 on our list, Chatty Patty?
Well, rolling right along, number 5 is all about having room to make a difference. In Mississippi, you're not just another face in the crowd. It's a place where you can really get involved in your community, whether that's through local schools, churches, neighborhood projects, or any other kind of community effort. Your voice really matters here. You can have a real impact and be part of shaping the place you live. So it's a great spot if you want to feel like you're part of a close-knit community and really make a difference. I
agree. I've said many times that I would much rather be a big fish in a small pond than what's the other small fish in a big pond. Well, Mississippi, you can be a big fish in a small pond, I guess you could say. We're also known for our close-knit family environment. Wouldn't you agree with that?
Absolutely. I would agree 100%. It's definitely one of those places where that close-knit family environment is still a really big deal. You've got multi-generational families living near each other, grandparents helping raise grandkids, cousins growing up together, and just a strong sense of family connection. It really makes Mississippi feel like home. So if you value that kind of close-knit, family-oriented atmosphere, you're definitely in the right place.
Well, I would have to say I'm one of the multi-generational families. My, it would be my, I guess, great-great-great-great-grandfather, I think I said it right, was actually one of the first settlers in Mississippi. He arrived coming to the newly being built city of Augusta, which doesn't exist anymore, on the Leaf River, in 1810, no, actually it was 1812, when Mississippi was still a territory.
Wow, that is some incredible family history, and that really shows just how deep those roots can go. It's amazing to think about your great-great-great-great-great-grandfather coming to Mississippi all the way back when it was still a territory. That kind of multi-generational connection really adds to that sense of belonging and community we've been talking about. It's like you're not just part of a place, you're part of its story, and that's a really special thing.
But we have warm Southern hospitality here, even though I would say I'm one of the multi-generational families and there are many others like me here. We welcome people from other areas. We love to have people come in and experience the same wonderful environment that we have here.
Absolutely. That warm Southern hospitality really is at the heart of it all. It's one of those things where it doesn't matter if your family's been here for generations or if you're brand new to the state. People are genuinely welcoming. They're happy to have you and share that sense of community. So you definitely get that friendly, welcoming vibe, and it makes it easy for anyone to feel right at home here.
One of the things that I've experienced over the years when I've met people who moved to Mississippi from other places, and I'll specifically talk about a neighbor of mine. He was originally from New Jersey, and his wife was originally from Miami Beach. So they were big city people, not Southern at all. And when they first moved to Mississippi, they had a job working for a telecommunications company here called WorldCom. You probably heard of it. And when WorldCom went out of business, they had to move away because this guy made a lot of money and they just didn't have jobs with his kind of salary and expertise to replace that when WorldCom went under. But I remember when he first moved here, they were pretty much negative, like, this is not really a great place to live. There's not much to do here based on New York standards or Miami Beach standards and that sort of thing. But it's interesting because when they had to move away, he had to move to Atlanta to get a job that was comparable to the lifestyle he was used to. And he kept trying to find a way to get back. He would call me and ask me to keep my eye out for high-paying telecommunications job because they really fell in love with the place and wanted to live here. And I've seen that happen many, many times. People might move here. In fact, I could say the same is true for me as far as moving to Jackson. When I first moved to this area, I don't live in Jackson, but a suburb. When I first moved here from the coast, my thought was I would live here for 2 years and get some experience and move on to a bigger and better place, like maybe Tampa or somewhere like that. Well, I'm still here 50 years later, so I fell in love with the place, and that's what happens to people who move to Mississippi.
Absolutely, and that's such a great testament to how Mississippi kind of sneaks up on you in the best possible way. It's like you come for one reason and you stay because you realize just how welcoming and comfortable it can be. That Southern hospitality, that slow pace of life, and that sense of community really do make people fall in love with it. So it's great to hear stories like yours and your neighbors. It just goes to show that sometimes the place you didn't expect to love ends up being the place you never want to leave.
Mississippi's also a safe place to live, and that is an important ingredient, especially if you are thinking of retiring. The last thing in the world you want to do is retire and then have to worry about getting mugged or assaulted on the streets. And you just don't have that in Mississippi, except for in a few little pockets, primarily in the city of Jackson. And then there's a big portion of the Mississippi Delta has some towns that you just wouldn't want to be there at night. But we all know exactly where those places are and how to avoid them. And if you do avoid those two areas there, the rest of Mississippi is probably the safest place in the whole United States. Where I live, we don't have to lock our doors. My neighbors know I'm not going to steal their stuff, or even if they left something valuable outside in the driveway all night long for the whole world to see, or even when they could go out of town and leave it there in the driveway, no one is going to take it. And vice versa. I don't have to worry about my neighbors. The only time we have crime in our neighborhood is when somebody, and it's a rare occasion, comes in from outside our community to steal. And we know who they are because we catch them we have cameras everywhere. We know who the culprits are.
Absolutely, and that's a really reassuring point. It's that sense of security and trust in your neighbors that really makes a place feel like home, and I think that's something that stands out about Mississippi, that overall feeling of safety in most places and that strong sense of community watchfulness. It's like people really do look out for each other. And like you said, outside of a few areas where you just know to be cautious, the rest of the state really is a place where you can feel at ease. So definitely adds to the overall quality of life, especially if you're looking for a peaceful place to settle down.
And that segues, what is number one?
Well, here we are, number one, and it's all about that strong sense of community and belonging. At the end of the day, that's really the heart of why people love Mississippi. It's a place where neighbors know each other, where you're not just another face in the crowd, and where you really feel like you matter and you're part of something. So I think that's a perfect note to end on, just the idea that Mississippi's a place where you can really belong.
Great. Well, thank you, Chatty Patty, and I hope those watching have a different perspective of the state of Mississippi now. We're not the same state that we were that you see in the movies. It's a lot different here. It's a happy place. People get along great, and I would say that you would be happy here if you move here, especially if you have a good attitude. So what do you think? Can you name some other reasons why Mississippi is a good place to live? If so, let me know in the comments. I will try to respond to you and I might include them in another video. Our next video that we make is going to be about how we can make Mississippi better by using the new technology that AI has to offer. But for now, take care. We'll see you next time.